off. And then we're going to be fully in the practice. And after the practice is done, I'm going to come to the chat and answer any questions you might have. Sounds good? All right, so we're actually going to start today lying down on our back. So go ahead and lie completely down on your back. And just for a moment here, you can keep the legs straight or you can keep the knees bent if you need a little bit support. Place one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly. And invite the eyelids to close. Begin to withdraw all of your awareness and all of your attention inside, away from the external world, and begin to dive deep into the internal world. Feel your presence behind your eyes. Take a full inhale through the nose and feel your belly expand and press into your hand. Feel the chest expand. Pause at the top of the inhale, but soften and relax, never tensing. Open your mouth, exhale, let it all out. 2 more. A full deep breath in, fill your belly, fill your chest, and a gentle hold at the top, allowing this medicine, this prana, to work its magic in your body. Now open your mouth, exhale it to the very bottom, get empty. Inhaling fully, inflate the upper cavity of your torso with the life force essence of your own breath. Pause at the top. Open your mouth, exhale, just washing the body from the inside. Maybe you feel a little bit more light. Feel the space that you just made. And from here, straighten your legs all the way down to the mat. And reach your arms up and over your head until the backs of your hands rest on the earth beneath you. You're going to keep your hips where they are, but you're just going to lift your upper body, your chest, an inch off the mat and tilt your torso all the way to the right corner of your mat. And then same thing with the legs. You're going to crawl the feet all the way to the right corner of your mat, coming into a crescent shape, or what is called banana asana, which is a lateral stretch for the spine, a side body stretch. You feel the stretch in the entire left side of the body. And so maybe if you want to get deeper into the stretch, you can grab your left wrist with your right hand and give your arm just a gentle pull, or you can grab opposite elbows and just create a little frame around the head. You can lift your left leg and hook your left ankle on top of the right. And if that's too intense, what you can do is you can just bend the left knee and plant the sole of the left foot flat. That's a more gentle variation. And so just knowing that you can modify, that you have options, that everyone belongs on the yoga mat. It's not just for the flexible and the fabulous. This is actually how you become flexible. You hear a lot of people say, I'm not flexible enough to do yoga. And I invite them to contemplate, well, how do you think you'll get flexible? It's by stretching your body and by doing yoga. It's almost like someone saying, I'm too dirty to take a shower. It's like, how are you going to get clean? You're going to get clean by taking a shower, and you're going to get flexible by stretching and doing more yoga. The key is just to ease your way into it, to never force anything, to stay with the breath. And so you allow the breath kind of to open up the body from the inside. Just breathing from head to toe, breathing into the entire left side of your body. From the left ankle all the way to the side of the left leg, your IT band. the left side of the hip, the left side of your ribs and your torso, your lat muscles, all the way up to your left arm. Feeling the breath flowing in and flowing out, moving its way up and down the side body. See if you can soften into the pose, ease into it. Let go of any tension, any gripping, any fidgeting. And let the pose do you instead of you doing the pose. Trust that the body will organically open up when it's ready. And from here, if you have that left ankle on top, just gently unhook it. And if you have the left wrist, gently release it. And slowly just crawl your feet back to the center of your mat and draw your arms all the way down by your side, palms facing down. And pause here just for a beat. Take a full inhale. Take a full exhale. And feel the difference between the left side of your body and the right side of your body. That even though these movements and these postures are gentle and subtle, that there's a difference there. It doesn't have to be strenuous. You don't have to be sweating for you to receive the benefits. And from here, we do the same thing on the other side. Reach the arms up and over your head. Just lift your torso a tiny inch off the mat and tilt the upper body all the way to the left corner of your mat. And begin to slowly crawl your feet to the left as well. And maybe it's just a little bit. And if you want to hook that right ankle on top, you can. And if you want to grab the right wrist with the left hand, you can. You're just stretching the right side of your body. And you're giving the right side the same thing that you gave the left side, which is your undivided attention. This is a meditation. And we're just incorporating a few postures and a few stretches to sustain this meditation. So see how quiet you can become, how present you can become inside of your own body. Chances are that your body has been craving a moment like this, a moment when you're not thinking about a million other things, you're not thinking about your job, your tasks, your to-do list, what you're going to do next. And just being fully in your body. Which is truly the greatest medicine you can give yourself. It's the best cure for any anxiety, any worry, or any sadness, any depression, is just being in your body, present to yourself, present to your breath. Just breathing in, you're breathing in, and breathing out, you're breathing out. That in this moment, right here, right now, everything is okay. And give yourself that gift, give yourself that permission of stillness, of your presence, which is your own presence. And from here, if you have that ankle on top, gently unhook it. And if you have the wrist, release it and slowly crawl yourself back to center. Extend your arms all the way down by your side. Take a full breath in and a full breath out. Hug your knees into your chest. Give yourself a hug here for a moment. Massage that low back. Feel that hollow space in your low back, that lumbar spine, kind of pressing down into the earth. Circle the knees and massage the kidney band here just for a few moments. It should feel good. It should feel sweet. And then begin to circle them the opposite way. Now begin to rock yourself up and down the spine. So back and forth here, just for a few rolls here, just massaging that spine from tail to the crown of the head. Last one here. And bring yourself all the way up to a seat. And just sitting nice and tall, hands on your knees or on your thighs. And for a moment here, just crawl your left fingertips all the way down by your side and tilt your head to the right. So right ear towards right shoulder, a slight tuck in the chin. So your chin is close to your right collarbone and you get that nice opening in the left side of the neck. And you can reach that right arm up and over your head if you want and place it on top of the left ear and just give it a gentle pull. Or since this is a yin practice and we do things a little bit more gently, you can just rest your right hand down and let the head kind of do the work for you. And just beginning to awaken that vagus nerve, just tapping into it. See if there's any necessary adjustments or auto tuning that needs to be done here. Sometimes you can get stuck in that fight, flight, or freeze. And even though the danger, the event that caused you to drop into this sympathetic state has gone, but the body is kind of on autopilot and still stuck in that protective, defensive state. And unless you deliberately and intentionally go in there and signal to the vagus nerve, to the body, to the nervous system, to slow down, to make that shift from fight or flight to calm, relax, collected, and clear. And the good news is that you have that capability, you have the power to tell your body to calm down, to relax. And so you just talk to it in loving ways, and it will listen. It wants to listen. The body is there to support you, to take care of you. It's just nobody taught you how to communicate with your body. And from here, slowly bring your head back to center. Release that left hand on your left knee. Pause for a beat. Notice the difference between the left side of your neck and the right side of your neck. And we do the same thing on the other side. Crawl your right fingertips a little to the right and gently just tilt your head to the left, chin to chest, maybe closing the eyes. See if you can drop that right shoulder a little bit more down and away from the ear. And slowly bring your head back to center. Both hands on your knees here for a moment. And let's do some spinal circles here. So, what you're going to do is you're going to take your right shoulder towards your left knee. And then you're going to draw your chest forward and then move to opposite shoulder, opposite knee. And then you're going to dome and round the spine. Pull your navel back until your arms are straight. And then you're going to keep going like you're stirring a pot. Just these spinal circles, lubricating the spine, the vertebra. And today's practice is going to be focused on the spine. The health of the spine is so important to our brain functioning and overall well-being. 90+% of the nutrients that the brain receives, it receives them through the spine. And it's also the way that the brain communicates with the rest of the body is through the spine. In science, it's called nature's miracle, the spine. And you're only as young and healthy as your spine is. So it's important to take care of our spine. Spinal health is critical to our well-being. Go ahead and just begin to circle the opposite way. Switch the direction of your circle. Stay with the breath, inhaling forward and exhaling, you round back. Last one, inhale and exhale. Finish your last round and slowly find your way back to an upright position, back to center, and feel it. Feel the alignment, feel the work that you just did, feel the yoga in your body. It's subtle. And only when the chatter in your head is quiet and still that you are able to tap into the wisdom and intelligence that's in your body. So tune into that. And from here, go ahead and straighten your right leg out in front of you. And you're going to bend your left knee and you're going to slide the left foot high up the inner right thigh, kind of like a tree pose, but you're seated. And you just want to make sure that your torso is tilted to a little bit to the right, so it's right above that right leg. Your right toes are pointing straight up to the sky, and the foot is active, is flexed. And on an inhale, both arms reach up. And on an exhale, you fold, and maybe you grab the foot, or maybe not, and that's okay. You can even just gently rest your arms by either side of the legs. You can even place blocks underneath your elbows and make it a gentle resting pose here. Remembering that in yin yoga, we hold these poses for long periods of time. So, really, it's the time and it's the breath and it's the meditation that opens up the body. So, you want to find a posture or a level of intensity that is sustainable for you to hold this pose between 90 seconds and all the way up to 5 minutes. And if you go all the way to the highest level of intensity, if you go to the deepest version of the stretch, you're not going to be able to sustain it for too long. And so work with yourself instead of working against yourself, and move your body from a place of wisdom instead of a place of ego. You see a lot of our culture today, especially with social media, they're focused on getting into the pose, on looking good, on taking that perfect picture. But really, is that sustainable in the long run? I want you to keep practicing yoga until you're 100 years old. And if you're jamming your body in that way, in that unnatural way, you're going to eventually hurt yourself and you're going to wear out your body. And so this is about well-being, about taking care of yourself. This is about creating mobility and getting that full range of motion. So the body is supple and flexible, and you're actually able to do the more hardcore, high intensity workouts. If you're a hiker, if you're a biker, or if you lift weights, or if you do, those HIIT classes, those are all great. But unless you have a supple enough body to get into that full range of motion, so you can bend instead of breaking. You see a lot of people get injured because they are not supple enough. And we see now, with athletes, with football players, basketball players, they all have a yoga teacher on speed dial. They practice these practices because they know it makes them better at what they do. Not only on a physical level, what we just covered, but also on a mental and emotional and spiritual level. And from here, slowly release what you have and bring yourself up. Take your left hand and circle it all the way behind you with the palm flat, fingertips pointing away from you. And then reach your right arm up to the sky and lift your hips up and just stretch the whole right side of the body. Point your right toes and reach the right foot away from the right hand away from the right foot. Give it one last stretch. Inhale. And exhale, slowly lower your hips all the way down. And we're going to pulse this 2 more times. Inhale, lift up. And exhale, slowly lower all the way down. Last one. Inhale, you lift. And exhale, slowly lower it all the way down. Spin your torso to face forward. Place your left hand outside of your left knee, sole of the left foot flat. And lift your left arm up to the sky. Inhale. Exhale, twist it, left hand behind you. You can take your right arm and either you just hug that right knee into your chest like a precious little baby. Or if you want to get deeper into the stretch, what you can do is you can lift your right arm up and hook your right elbow outside of your left knee. Always remembering that more doesn't necessarily mean better. Deeper doesn't necessarily mean better. What matters is you have that sustainable flow of breath. So if your breath is choppy or you're restraining, let that be your teacher. Let your breath guide you and let you know when you've pushed too hard and when you need to kind of back off a little bit. Breathing in, you're breathing in. And breathing out, you're breathing out. Give it one last squeeze. Maybe look behind you a little bit, get deeper into the twist. And then look forward and unravel yourself. Straighten that left leg for a beat. If you want to shimmy the legs a little side to side, get that blood to flow. And we just do the same thing on the other side. Janu Sirsasana, that left leg is straight, the foot is flexed, the toes are like arrow pointing to the sky. You're going to bend your right knee. You're going to slide the sole of the right foot high up the inner left thigh. You're going to tilt your torso a little to the left. Both arms sweep up. Inhale, fold forward, exhale. And it's okay to keep a little bit of roundness in the spine. Again, since we hold these poses for such a long time, you want to relax the spine, almost feel the shoulder blades melt away from each other, releasing and dissolving any tension, any heaviness in the shoulders. Breathe into the back of the left leg, just allowing the back of the left knee to kind of organically melt down into the earth. Let just gravity do its job. You just get out of your own way. Breathe into the back of your heart, the space where you receive love from others. When someone gives you a hug, they place their hand behind your heart, and that's how you receive their love, right? And so again, this is not only a physical practice, we're tapping into also our emotions, and also on a spiritual and energetic level, we're working with the energy of awakening. And all that means is that you awaken, you wake up to your own true innate powers. You discover how powerful you are and what you are capable of when you get out of your head and into your body. And you access all this information that's in the body that's available to you. And this energy of awakening is available to everybody. You were born with this capability. And give it one last gentle pull here. And slowly begin to lift yourself up. Taking that right hand and just circle it behind you, palm flat, fingertips away from you. You sweep that left arm up to the sky. You lift your hips up. Take a full inhale. And exhale, slowly lower the hip down. Two more just like that, friends. Let's go. Inhale, lift up. Expand the body. And exhale, ground yourself. Last one, fluid movements. Inhale, lift. And exhale, slowly lower all the way back down. Spin your torso to face forward. Place your right hand outside of your right knee. Plant the sole of the right foot flat. Right arm reaches up. Inhale. Twist it on an exhale. Maybe you hug that right knee in. Maybe you lift the left arm and you hook the left elbow behind you. You'll come into a twist, making sure you're sitting even on both hips. You're not leaning too much to one side. Feel the breath flow from the nostrils through the back of the throat and work itself down the spine through every vertebra, all the way down to the tailbone. And then it presses back up from the tailbone, through the mid-back, through the upper back, through the back of the throat, and all the way back through the nostrils. And just visualize the breath flowing in and out and moving its way through the spine, opening up that Shushumna Nadi, that central energy column, that meridian, that pathway where your prana, where your life force energy flows. So we want to make sure that all these channels of communication are clear. So the messages from the brain to the body and the body to the brain are very, very clear. Give it one last squeeze here. And then look forward. Unravel yourself. Straighten that right leg. Shimmy the legs a little bit again. Get that blood to flow back into the legs. Good job, everybody. And from here, you're just going to swing your legs to one side and you're going to come onto a tabletop position just for a beat here. Let's do some side to side stretches here. So you can do some cat and cows. You can bring your right shoulder to your right hip, so side to side, and then do the same thing on the other side. Should feel pretty good. Let's also do some hip circles here. So just slide your knees a little bit back behind you. And what you're going to do is you're going to bring your hips all the way to your right heel as if you're about to take a child's pose. And then swing your hips to the left heel. And then just draw these giant circles with the hips. Draw your chest forward. Inhale. And then just keep with this circle, hips back to the right and then to the left. And then you circle them forward. You open the chest a little bit. And then you just keep going. Just moving the hips in a very slow and steady way, activating and waking up whatever needs to be activated. Let's switch the direction of the circle, so opposite way. If there's an area that sometimes needs a little bit more of your attention, feel free to linger there for a little bit. Remember, this is your body. Only you know what feels good and what doesn't feel good. And finish your last round here. And find yourself back to a neutral tabletop. And from here, we're going to come into a Sphinx pose. You're going to lower one elbow at a time, and you're going to rest your upper thighs onto the mat. You want to make sure that your right shoulder is right above your right elbow. You have this 90-degree angle. Your palms are flat, and your palms and your elbows are just about shoulder distance apart. They're not too wide, they're not too narrow. And then just open up the chest. Think about you're dragging the skin of your forearms back and you're spreading kind of the collarbone wide and you're rolling the shoulders back and down. Engage the quad muscles, engage your core, engage your glutes just a little bit without tensing too much. You're just protecting that low back. So you're not just compressing that lumbar spine, the most sensitive part of the spine here. You're allowing the front side of your body to protect the back side of your body. And since this is a yin class, if you want to grab a block and just rest your forehead on the block, feel free to do that. Inviting the earth to rise to meet you. You're fully supported. And so for some of you, you can stay here. If you want to get a little bit deeper, you can reach your palms out as wide as your mat and then lift your elbows a little bit higher and come into a seal pose. And this is a very deep, deep variation. And so be mindful. If it's too intense, don't do it. Guess what? You have options. You don't have to do it. This is your body, your practice. And we're just here for a few breaths. See if you can just open the chest. And if you're in that seal pose, slowly lower your elbows, come back to that sphinx, remove the block if you have it, and just create a pillow for your forehead by planting one palm over another and just rest your forehead all the way down. Taking a moment to just neutralize your spine here, your low back. If you want to wiggle the hips a little side to side, releasing any tension there in the low back. Just breathing in and out. You can bend your knees and spin the soles of the feet up to the sky and windshield wiper the legs a little side to side. It should feel nice on the low back. You can do an egg beater, just opening the legs away from each other and then bringing them down together in the middle like an egg beater. And you can switch that direction. And release the legs if you have them. Slowly press onto your hands and knees. Come into a tabletop position again. Crawl your knees a little bit forward. Bring your big toes together to connect. Open your knees just a little bit wider than your torso. And we come into a child's pose. You reach your arms down by your side so the fingertips are close to the feet and your forehead is rested on Mother Earth. Now, if your forehead can't touch the earth and your hips cannot rest on your heels, what you can do is you can place a block underneath your forehead. You can place a block underneath your hips, and you can play with the height of the block, or you can place two blocks. Make it as high as you need to. Again, the idea is you're fully supported. You're in a sustainable pose. This is a resting pose. So you should feel rested here. And breathe into the entire back. And almost like a superhero cape. Imagine that when you breathe in, the breath kind of inflates the skin. And when you exhale, it lands back down. You're creating space in your body. So much is happening right now in this very seemingly simple pose. You're breathing into the spine, which is the line where the chakras align, your energy vortexes.
So even though you're not conscious of it, or you're not aware of it, or you don't even understand what chakras are, it doesn't matter. You're still receiving the healing benefits. And I'll never forget when I watched the documentary, The Dama Brothers. It was this experiment in a maximum security prison in Alabama. The psychiatrist was determined to launch an experiment of a 10-day intensive meditation based on the teachings of Vipassana, which is 10-day silent meditation, which is highly, highly intense and vigorous, to be silent for straight 10 days. And the participants were these murderers who were convicted with horrific crimes. And she fought really, really hard to make this experiment happen. And you can see the transformation happens when they are sitting quietly for 10 days. They are forced to notice and observe how the sensations of the body trigger their emotions and their thought patterns. And eventually, after 10 days of observing the sensations in your own body, you begin to notice that they're patterns. They're repetitive patterns. A sensation triggers an emotion triggers a thought, and the cycle continues. And after 10 days, you realize that I don't have to get caught up in this. I can just observe it and watch it like I'm watching a movie. I don't have to be caught up in the character. And I can also change the storyline. And that's so, so empowering when you come to this realization. And really, that's what awakening means. You just wake up and you realize that you are the creator of your life experience. And it all starts by sitting quietly within. And eventually you see those prisoners transform, and how their face softened, and you see the light in their eyes, their language, their body language completely changed and transformed. And then they became meditation teachers, and they started to teach other prisoners how to meditate. And they were launching these Vipassana 10-day meditations on an ongoing basis, a truly transformational story. And so, if they're capable of transformation, so are you. Slowly come onto your hands and knees into a tabletop position. And just swing your legs to one side and straighten your legs out in front of you. You're going to lie down on your back again, but grab your blocks with you. Just grab one block here. And just take a moment here, hug your knees into your chest. Maybe move the head, roll it a little side to side. And we're going to come into a happy baby. You're going to grab the outer edges of your feet with your hands. Your elbows are inside of your knees, and your ankles are above your knees in that 90-degree angle. You're hugging the upper thighs in towards your chest. And if you can't reach all the way to the outer edges of the feet, you can just grab your calves, you can grab your ankles, and you can grab your thighs, your hamstrings.
And so just know that you always have options here. And eventually, if you keep practicing, you'll get there. It's actually pretty quick that the body progresses and opens up because it is natural for the body to open. It wants to open. It's just that you haven't been practicing. So if you do this on a consistent, regular basis, you're going to start to see your body become more supple so much faster than you think. It's just that people give up when it gets hard. But do it maybe 2, 3 times a week. And by the third time, you're going to notice the difference and you're going to be so surprised and impressed. But the irony is that you won't even care about the pose because the transformation happens from the inside. That's the real yoga. Give it one last gentle pull here, and then slowly hug your knees into your chest one more time. Bring your feet flat on the mat and take the block and place it underneath your hips at the low height. Place it right there in your sacrum, a slight tuck in the tailbone so that pelvis tilt. You're scooping your pelvis towards your face just a little bit, and straighten one leg and straighten the other leg. Arms by your side. If you have a wall nearby, and you just want to rest your legs against the wall, that should feel so sweet. And I can demonstrate here for you. What you're going to do is you're just going to grab that block with you. And if you want to take your mat with you, you can, but you're just going to place your hips kind of against the wall here. And then you're just going to swing your legs all the way up against the wall. You can scooch your hips a little bit closer to the wall, and then you take that block and you place it underneath the sacrum again. And now you have legs against the wall. And man, this pose is so therapeutic. And you just kick back and relax. You're fully supported. You're getting the blood to flow down and reverse effects of gravity. Truly the fountain of youth. You can stay here as long as you need to. I like to do this at night before I go to sleep. And then I sleep like a baby. So good for the nervous system, for the heart, for the brain, lymphatic drainage. So many benefits. Arms by your side, the chest is open. Close the eyes. Relax your jaw, your tongue. And come back to that deep state of meditation, of stillness. Especially if you've been traveling. You know, I travel a lot with my yoga retreats that I lead. And you hear that saying, you need a vacation from the vacation. So the first thing I do after I land, after a long flight, I just shoot my legs up against the wall. And I release all that tension and inflammation. And shout out for the people who are on this live stream today that are coming with me to Portugal in May. I'm so excited to see you in person. I don't get to see you guys. It's all digital, it's all through the screen. But there's nothing like a face to face human connection. I just read an article that a lingering hug between two hearts creates an opening from your heart chakra to another person's heart chakra. And there's this exchange of energy and there's this bond. And so I can't wait to hug everybody. I'm fully vaccinated, by the way. So don't worry if I hug you. I promise. And we're going to get tested and all that stuff. Beautiful, friends. Slowly begin to bend your knees if you're against that wall. Plant the feet flat. Remove that block from underneath your sacrum. And you're just going to swing your legs to one side. And you're going to come back on your mat. And if you're still on your mat, just lie all the way down. And we're going to come into our final resting pose, Shavasana. Straighten the legs. Straighten the arms by your side and take one last soft inhale through the nose. Open your mouth, exhale. And feel this harmony, this deep state of equanimity that you created. This incredible shift in your state of being, this openness in your heart, this calmness in your mind, and this suppleness in your body. Shavasana. And allow your next inhale to be a little fuller and the exhale a little longer. Rubbing your thumb against each finger pad and wiggling the toes. Making that precious sacred connection with your physical body of bone and blood. Gently rolling your head a little side to side, relaxing the neck. Reaching your arms up and over your head, just stretching the body from head to toe one last time. Hug your knees into your chest and roll on to one side into a fetal position. Just take a moment, cradle your head for a beat. And press into your hand and guide yourself all the way up into a very easy cross-legged seated position here, just sealing your practice. Lifting your heart, but tucking your chin towards your chest as if you're looking inside of your own heart. Float your two palms together to connect. Bring your thumbs to your third eye for clarity of thought. Bring them to your lips for thoughtfulness of speech, and to your heart for compassion towards yourself and others, allowing your practice to guide you through everything that you are thinking, saying, and doing. And the light and the goodness within me sees and honors the light and the goodness within you. Namaste. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining me. Always an honor guiding you through your practice. Much love, much gratitude to each and every one of you. Again, my name is Maha Bodhi, and be on the lookout for these Sunday classes, Yin Yoga, Destress, and Deep Stretch. So good for the mind, body, and soul. All right, everybody, I'm going to pause for a moment here. I'm going to come closer, and I'm going to answer any questions